All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, David Lee Roth has picked a fight with Gene Simmons. Not surprising because Dave doesn't have a lot going on these days. You know what I mean? He just got kicked off the end of the road tour and you've been replaced by like a guy who paints pictures, I believe. And what's weird is nobody has really addressed the problems directly with Dave other than Sammy Hagar, who went out there and said Dave can't sing anymore. And Dave's stage presence and persona is really weird and quirky. And if you had the pleasure of watching David Lee Roth in Las Vegas, the evidence is right there. Now, Gene Simmons said that, look, Dave used to be this great front man. You know, I prefer to remember the old Dave instead of the current modern day Dave, much like the Elvis Presley um, of the old days versus the Elvis slumped over the toilet in like the 70s when Elvis was really struggling with his weight and with various substances and so forth. So, okay, I guess that's a pretty decent critique. But again, there is a little bit of hypocrisy. And I did mention that in another video. Gene, if you're going to call someone out, at least call out from a position of strength, because we all know that Kiss is basically a big AI experiment right now. Yes, you guys get up there on stage. Maybe the instruments are plugged in. Maybe they're wired. Maybe somebody in the band has the responsibility of doing something that's live. But there are a lot of embellishments. There are a lot of things happening which enhance the sound of Kiss. So in slight defense of Roth, who is actually out there being quirky and attempting to sing, I think Dave doesn't have any additional assistance. If he does and he sounds that bad, then it's time to quit, Dave. It's time to just hang up those crazy dancing shoes of yours and call it a career. Maybe get back into broadcasting, work on that tattoo removal cream, whatever it is that Dave needs to do. It's probably outside the realm of music these days. But, you know, he sends this picture flipping Gene the bird, and I think 18 times or something. Okay. I mean, look, what happens here is there's a fight. The fight generates publicity. Dave has nothing going on, so this benefits Dave more than Gene. Gene doesn't care. He's on the end of the road tour, and that's kind of it. That's the whole premise of this entire thing. Now, will Gene Simmons hit back on Dave? Probably not. I mean, Gene Simmons, he's been feuding with Ace Frehley for a number of years. In the old days, there was even a little tension, obviously, between Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, but these guys, I think, recognize that they have this enormous cash cow, and they're going to put aside some of their personal differences in order to cash in and then cash out. Meanwhile, Roth doesn't have anything going on. And I don't know, Dave's, I guess, living off the Van Halen royalties and the publishing and all that stuff he did early on, because that really is, you know, the better selling half of Van Halen. As much as I like Sammy Hagar, Dave was at the right place at the right time with the right producer and some really great material. And the fans of music like myself, the older music, that's the stuff we hang our hat on these days, especially in the world we're currently living in. So in any event, you'll probably see more back and forth between these two clowns because that's what they do. This is where they, you know, live as far as, you know, who can insult who and who's got the better comeback. And that's about where we're at when it comes to this type of music. We won't talk about new bands coming up. Kiss, why don't you bring Crazy Licks on tour with you? Do something inventive. Try something where you expose people to new music, right? I think I know the reason why they couldn't bring a band like Crazy Looks on tour, because Crazy Looks would blow them off the stage. That's pretty much my answer to that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell if you want notifications on new videos, and Patreon. Having a lot of fun over on Patreon lately. $1 a month to be a part of that. You can send messages, and eventually I will reply to those messages. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and I'll start replying to messages. So it's kind of a full-time job. Yeah. But thanks again, folks. See you soon.